Hello there, Algebra 2 students. This is Mr. Kashi speaking. In this video, what I'm going to show you to do is I'm going to show you how to create a box and whisker plot in Google Sheets for our stats project. Okay, so the first thing that you do need to have done, though, is you do need your measure of central tendency and your measures of dispersion. That needs to be completed before you do this box and whisker plot. It'll go much faster. So the first thing that I want you to do is you should have your measures of central tendency spreadsheet up. And I actually would like to do this on a separate spreadsheet, but instead of creating everything again, what I want you to do is I want you to click on that triangle down here, and we're going to duplicate. We're going to obviously make a copy of this. Okay, and then you'll see how it comes over. It says copy of central tendency and dispersion. Click on that triangle again, and then click rename, and this is going to be your box and whisker plot. Okay, you can hit enter, and you can just leave your original data there, and over here we'll have the sorted data. You want to keep that sorted, but the next thing I would tell you to do is I want you to delete the central tendency part of it, and if you have some borders or things like that, you can take those off. Okay. And then we're set up to do the box and whisker plot of it. Okay, and so the Google Sheets can calculate a lot of this stuff for you. Even though you have your sorted data here, I do want to show you some different things with this. So the things that we need to find here are the minimum, quartile 1, quartile 3, and the maximum. Okay, and you can you know, make these pretty later too if you want to. But I just wanted to show you some of the things. So you know your minimum, you know your maximum. You might have already done this one by hand. So this would you might know your quartiles there too, but I just wanted to show you how this works on Google Sheets. So if you hit the equal sign right next to the backspace, you can start typing in minimum, and if you just put MIN, the first thing that pops up is this minimum value in a numerical data set. Okay, so if you click on that, it's asking for the data, and so you just highlight all the data down to the bottom. Then you close the parentheses, hit enter, and sure enough, 23.65. That should be sorted already. It should be that top number. And if you go over here, you can do the same thing for the maximum. You hit equals, and you start typing in maximum value in numerical data set. Okay, click on that, highlight your data. Okay, I'm guessing it's going to be 48.87. Okay, so now we found our minimum and we found our maximum. And I like that centered. So here, for quartile 1, what you need to do is there's an extra step when you're looking for quartiles. What you have to do is you have to hit the equal sign right next to the backspace button. Then you can start typing in quartile, and they're not separated by which quartiles they are. So here you have what you have to do is you have to click on quartile, and then you need to highlight your data because they need to know all the numbers in your data set. Instead of closing the parentheses, what you need to do is this time you have to hit the comma, and then you have to put in 1 because we're looking for quartile 1. Then you close the parentheses, and then if you hit enter, it'll come up with your first quartile. Then you do the same thing for quartile 3, but instead of putting in 1, you'd put in 3. So you hit equals, start typing in quartile, click on quartile, highlight all of your data, then a comma, 3, close the parentheses, and there you go. Okay, now these are obviously not rounded. They're going out to, you know, the 10,000ths and the thousandth place in these decimals. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So now we have everything that we need to make our box and whisker plot. So what you need to do is you need to highlight the 4 data pieces. So you want to highlight those 4 cells. Then you want to come up here click on Insert, and then come down here to Chart. So what we're going to do is we're going to be inserting a chart. You click on that, and then this window comes up. It has some recommendations for us. All right, but what you need to click on is you need to click on Chart Types. And then when you come down here, you want to scroll all the way down. And this is the one that we want to click on now, but this is not available for us yet. Okay, so you want to unclick the switch columns, switch rows and columns, and now that should show up. So then you can click on, it's called the candlestick chart in here for some reason, but you click on the candlestick chart, and then you click Insert. Now this is a pretty rough box and whisker plot. So the first thing you can do is you want to click on it, and then all these squares are going to come up around, and I would put it in a spot where you can actually kind of see your data too. Alright, so that's where we want it, but it's pretty plain. So what I want you to do is I want you to right click anywhere on the chart, and then you want to put your title in there. So my title would be price of electricity, and then I have the 500 kilowatt hours in there. Okay, and then you have axes. Really, there is no horizontal axis title that you want to put down, but the vertical axis title here for me would be basically the same thing. We can just put money, or if you wanted to put price of electricity or whatever, and you hit enter, you have money here. Okay, and now really you have everything labeled that you want, but this doesn't really fill what we want it to fill. So what you want to do is you want to right click, and you go to Axes, after you right click, you want to go to Axes, and then the horizontal labels or the vertical labels are what we're gonna be changing here. The vertical labels are what we want to change in this, because this is a little bit too spread out. That's why our box and whisker plot looks a little weird. So for me, I want to put in a value that's just below my minimum. So in this case, I'm going to put in 20, and then my maximum I want something just over my top value, and so I'm going to put in 50. And so once I do that, now my box and whisker plot looks a little bit better. It fills the chart itself, and now we're looking at, and we don't have a median line, which is the one thing I don't like about the Google Sheets as compared to the Excel. But we have our box and whisker plot. Looks a little different than what we have in class. It's a vertical box and whisker plot instead of a horizontal one. But that is how you create your box and whisker plot. And this spreadsheet right here, I'd like you to keep just like this. So leave your original data off to the left, your sorted data, and then obviously your quartiles, your min, and your max right there. And just have your chart off to the right, just like that. And that is how you create your box and whisker plot in Google Sheets for our stats project.